That's one of my favorites.
I love that song.
You only have a few minutes, so you can go ahead and just belt it.
Just do. Oh, I can belt.
Yes. Move away from the. Wait, move away from the mic.
Let me back up
before we break it.
Okay, I'll start. Suddenly my world's gone and changed its face, but I still know where I'm going. I have had my mind spun around in space, and yet I've watched it growing. Oh, and if you're listening, God, please don't make it hard to know if we should believe the things that we see. Tell us, should we run away? Should we try and stay? Or would it be better just to let things be? Living here in this brand new world, it might be a fantasy, but it taught me to love.
Oh my God. Yes, and just so you know, if you're listening, God was listening. God was you have an incredible voice. Thank you for sharing it with the world, Miss First. Okay, you do your thing, honey.
I'm pulling up the lyrics, but
you're pulling up the lyrics?
Yes. I'm gonna sing a little bit of Won't Complain.
Okay. Yes. Perfect.
I've had some good days, and I've had some hills to climb. I've had some weary days, and I had some sleepless nights. But when I look around and I think things over, all of my good days outweigh my bad days, and I won't complain.
Well, I ain't complaining either, honey. Yes. This is you guys are amazing talents. Thank you so much for sharing your talent with us. We're going to be following you, watching you, and expressing to our listeners where you are in the world. And if we show up at your show, if I have a different color hair and my co-host has a different suit on, I don't want y'all to ignore us, because we will not be ignored, and neither will the world be able to ignore you. Go ahead and do your thing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Y'all, we have had some great people in this audience, but never as young as these. So we are joyful. We are happy. We are inspired. Thank you so much. And in light of that joy, Lisa Bellamy, come on and do your thing. It's Inspiration 1390.
Thank you.
Oh my God, let's take pictures. Y'all are amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my God.
You want to interview everybody?
Are you serious?
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah, we try to make it fun. So you'll remember.
She can sing, bro. She can sing. Oh yeah, she got a future.
She gets the belt into the really high, into like the soft high. That was crazy.
She got it.
That takes so much vocal control to do that, to go,
And she like from medium trained. I don't know if that's just natural or
I think
they
that's
trained her.
Well, I don't know.
But they in high school.
What?
That's what I'm saying.
High school?
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
I missed that part.
They might be trained up, or they might.
Nah, that might just be the next generation, because all they know is media, bro.
It's just a lot more power.
They're gonna go so far, bro. That's crazy. Yeah.
She's like Bill Scott.
Dang, I didn't know that high school part though. That's crazy. Did we do this?
That's a sticker.
Did we do this?
I didn't need to start in such a low to give a story. I was like, wow.
You know what? It takes talent to do that. Bye, guys.
Did we do a story? No.
We can.
Oh, we didn't before.
We didn't do a story, but this is important. They were great. That was a great interview. So for all of you guys who are out there and thinking about singing, you better come on. These kids are showing you what to do, how to do it, and that you don't complain when you do it. Wasn't that a great interview? I love that.
High school, that's insane.
High school.
They
You
talking about them scholarships.
$25,000. Somebody say $25,000. $25,000 ain't nothing to clap, no, all of that. Stomp your feet like a kid. If you're happy, you know it. Do all three. Not really, not no more. 25,000.
All right, well,
a junior college.
Like, I'm 37 in the hole, right? You getting me 25 right now? I'm pretty much out.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But for college,
Yeah.
when you were in college, which was not that long ago, it might have been that. But now it's not. Now it's 50 and adult.
Oh, that's not even that. I get 21.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, give me the 25.
Who's our next guest? We don't have. Okay, so let's do. Oh, that's right. Okay, here's yours. I'm gonna do this one first. Guess what, guys? Hey, Chris. Guess what, guys? Queese Boutique and Purple Turtle is building our warehouse pretty soon. You guys will be able to come and pick up your things from the warehouse, from where we ship them. If you're local or if you're traveling and you're local, you'll be able to pick up your items from our warehouse. It is coming along and I'm super excited about it. I'm shouting my girl, my co-author, my best girl, Tanya, out because we started on this journey together. You know, it's always our aim, as I aforementioned on the air, to send you back better than you can, to inspire you, to ignite you, to make your dreams come out of your head and into the world, because I know there's something in each one of you that you want to get and share with the world. And for whatever reason, for whatever nervousness or fear, remember that fear is the false evidence appearing real, because you can overcome that. And every day I wake up and I get on YouTube and I look at the prayers, and sometimes they're 30 minutes long, sometimes they're an hour long, but it really starts my day and it gives me the confidence. I must change that, the Godfidence that I need in order to face whatever it is. Because you know, these demons will attack you, but you gotta put your full armor on and make sure that those attacks don't actually penetrate. So I said all that to say, whatever it is that you're aspiring to do, you can do it. What's up, DJ B-Lo? I love you too. That's right. Don't complain. Keep it moving. You know what? So many things are going on in the world, right? But that doesn't mean they have to be going on in your world. The Bible says that you are in it, but not of it. You can be in the world, but not of the world. If you believe, and honey, I'm in it, but I ain't of it. Keep all that drama. Oh, it's not just LA. It's Milwaukee. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. You should see the millions of people in Milwaukee. They walking from Milwaukee to here.
Do not go outside, bro. You're tripping, bro. It's definitely, yeah. Look, bro, read.
Look, bro, read. That's like eat, pray, love. Look, bro, read. Oh my God!
I saw this though. I thought the car
DJ B-Lo says that he can't hear, that the audio is out. This is on Instagram.
Fix your phone.
I think it's just your phone though, boo.
Yeah.
30 seconds, y'all.
Yeah.
See if you can hear it now. I think it's your phone though. Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
I didn't think nobody hit somebody on this.
Somebody hit you?
No, last night on the red car that was going through the protesting. That's right. They got away. That stinks.
3344 and take control of your safety. That's 866-447.
I don't think we've seen protests like this since George Floyd.
No, that's what I said. We definitely what's going on. Hey, believers, Adam filling in for Marcel Action Jackson. So, as you know, lots of protests going around out in LA, Milwaukee. We're seeing here in Chicago. And yesterday, a woman of 66 suffers broken arm in a hit and run during a downtown Chicago anti-ICE protest, police say. She suffered a broken left arm in a hit and run. The woman was on the first block of East Monroe Street around 6:20 p.m. Tuesday when a red car drove through a group of protesters in the street, Chicago police said on Wednesday. The victim, who broke her arm as the car fled the scene, was taken to Northwest Memorial Hospital, where she was treated and released, officials said. Police were still searching for the driver in the car involved in the incident of Wednesday morning. The department is investigating the incident as a hit-and-run traffic crash, records show. The driver was stuck between police vehicles on State Street as thousands came down to protest the recent immigration raids by the Trump administration. Officers attempted to guide her away from the crowd and asked her to turn right on Monroe Street, but she ignored their orders and turned left, speeding into the crowd. And I mean, I saw that. I think that's a little much of a stretch on this story. I don't think this wasn't. I don't think this was like New Orleans where they're speeding into a crowd like that,
She just turned.
trying to hurt people. This was not like New Orleans, in my opinion. But
well, they did that in Atlanta too during George Floyd. But as I aforementioned when we were off air, I said that I haven't seen protests like this since the George Floyd situation, and people are getting sick and tired. And we've been talking about this on the air. We've been talking about it in our kitchens. We've been talking about it in our cars, on our phones, on social media. Why is America just watching this happen? The dismantling of our republic, because we're really not a democracy. We really are a republic, and within that republic is baked certain inalienable rights that are being stripped from every single sector of the country.
I think it should be martial law soon.
Well, it's actually
almost there.
It's actually there, but it's not the way that you think. So having said that, when we're talking about well, some of the people in the studio said, well, it's not going to come to Chicago, but it's already here, and they're saying that in Chicago that it's going to be even more protests this weekend. So get ready for traffic jams.
Don't go outside.
But beyond traffic jams, people are fired up and they're mad. They're really, really angry.
I'm mad if I can't get to work. Get out my way.
I'm not talking about the traffic jam. I'm talking about if you can't get to work because you had no work. Like you had a job, you knew that you were going to have a pension, and then all of a sudden, because at the stroke of a pen, at whatever whim of whatever madness that I'm putting madness in air quotes just for the safety of the show, but for whatever madness that you decided to wake up in the morning because you said, okay, you know what? I think today I'm going to eliminate this. And so then that eliminates a bunch of people's families, lifestyles, and livelihood. So a lot of people are talking about how homelessness is going to grow. And we're talking about taking people out of the union who are unlawfully here, but we're also doing that for people who are lawful citizens here.
And like if the homeless population grow, we already can't. Before all this happened, the city of Chicago already couldn't take care of all the homeless now. And if this happens, it's just going to be even way, way worse.
And it's not just the city of Chicago; it's the city of everybody. And it's USA.com. We cannot take care of the homeless and we were getting to a point here in Chicago because Mayor Johnson, he had a brother that was unhoused, because that's like the new nomenclature for homeless, but it was he was unhoused. And so that is one of his top priorities, is to make sure that the people that are unhoused get housing, or at least during the brittle months of, because Chicago can be Arctic and vortex before anybody even named it a vortex, right? So of course that is a priority here in this city, but there are other cities that the legislators don't have that on their priority list. Certainly it is one of their items, action items, but priority, I'm not so sure.
I don't know.
So you know what? This is really a response to, anytime you see a policy in a company, it's a response to a problem that they are trying to avoid having. Protesting is a response to a problem that you are currently having, and you don't want it.
I'm hearing a lot of mixed opinions about the protests and stuff from people in different communities as well.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I mean,
mixed like what?
Mixed. Some people are not supporting it. Some people are supporting it.
Well, I looked at Milwaukee today, and when I tell you there are hundreds of thousands of people, well, it looked like that from the aerial view in which I saw. I mean, people of every ethnicity. So this is not just a Black thing. It's not a Hispanic thing. It's not a immigration thing. It's a everything. Yeah. People are hot mad, blue hot mad.
I was talking to my homies last night, and they said back in the day when Black people were protesting and like doing sit-ins in the 60s, you didn't see Mexicans helping them out. Not true. And I'm just saying what I heard. But they're just saying it always seems like,
I didn't see those videos you saw. Obviously, Justice. All I saw was Black people.
I didn't see it.
I saw a few white people too, but I didn't see Hispanics.
And he was saying, why does it seem like whenever Black people are fighting for their rights, it always benefits everybody else, but when Mexicans want, or other races than Black want to fight for it doesn't affect Black people. And that's where our conversation was about last night. And that's where I think the discrepancy comes for some people.
But I think that this is a partisan, if you will, colorless situation because everybody is
Now it's
being
just rights.
impacted.
Rights of all
It's
Americans.
definitely
now.
just rights. Well, you know what? We're going to segue into a similar story because we can't talk about this enough because it is growing as we are speaking, and we want to make sure that some people only get their news off the Brunch Bunch, so we want to make sure that you get the right news. And then we always encourage you to fact check us. If in fact you haven't gotten all that you need from us, go and fact check and then formulate your own opinions from your research. In the meantime, in between time, we're going to keep it live up in here from our own DeAndre Patterson, y'all. He is alive.
I don't know if we can. He's not our own anymore.
He is our own. That's like at FIST. I don't care if you went to FIST for 2 years and didn't graduate, you still a FIST guy.
I don't know.
Oh,
You don't
so
get money
Gary
to
says
iHeart no more,
Gary
so.
says it's no sound too.
Does he still talk good about us? I mean, I could turn it on.
No, I think it's on the phone, maybe.
I think it's your phone.
No, it might be. I don't know.
I realized it was in front of the mic.
So you
No,
saw,
you're straight. No, that would.
so you saw Hispanics and Black
You
protests?
know about the Brown Berets? They were literally protesting for Fred Hampton when he was locked up.
No, I didn't
and
know
after
that.
he was assassinated. Yeah, Mexicans have always been a part of social justice movements involving Black people since the start.
Well,
It's
because
just something
now,
that's not
now when we talk about Black and brown,
Mhm.
the browns don't really resonate with the
One
Black.
thing you also got to consider too, Latino is not a race. There are white and Black Latinos. So when everyone's like, "Oh, I
I'm
don't
talking
care,"
about Mexican.
No,
That's
we're talking
Yeah,
about Mexico.
they were talking about
We're
Mexico.
talking about from Mexico.
my fiance is a Black Mexican.
We talking about
Hello.
Mexicans, dog.
So no, hold on. Let me talk. So when people are like, "Oh, that's a Mexican problem. That's a Latino problem," because they feel like there is anti-Blackness in Latino communities.
Yeah.
But like you have to understand you're encompassing Black people that you claim to be speaking for too, because there are Black Mexicans and they're the ones who are being affected the most. The ones that y'all are mad at are the white bourgeoisie Latinos who get rich and move out the neighborhood, stuff like that. So they're all voting Republican. But the poor ones, the brown ones, the dark-skinned ones, they're the ones who are being the most affected by all this stuff because anti-Blackness is a global issue. So it doesn't benefit anybody to just blanket statement an entire ethnic group.
But you doing blanket statements right now, though.
God.
How so?
You just said all white
said the
presenting
bourgeoisie,
Mexican dudes
right.
are
I'm saying
going
that
and
when
going
people-
being
I'm saying-
Republican. You're making blanket statements.
I'm saying that when people are saying that, that's who they're talking about. Every person I've talked about who has that issue,
Yeah.
that's who they specify. And I'm
I
like,
don't know
that's a
about all
specific
that, bro.
group that you're targeting or that
Bro.
you have an issue with, and you're using that to encompass the entire ethnic group. And I'm like, that's not really the case.
But the people that I see now that are protested in the cities that we have already talked about, they are a mixture of everybody. It's not more of
Yeah, I
one
don't
than
see
it
it.
is of
Everybody-
another.
That's like rooting for their friends now.
Yeah, that's
Man,
true.
It's not a race versus race situation.
No,
It's just whoever your friends are.
Yeah.
It's just like the Pride situation. Like you ain't got to be gay, but if your friends, you feel me? You gonna ride for your friends.
And the same
Yeah,
thing
I
we
ain't
saw
going
at George
back there.
Floyd. With the George Floyd
I ain't going back
protests,
to Pride
there
ever.
were so many different ethnicities that were representing and
Yeah, I agree.
protesting against that
I don't know if
injustice
George
that
Floyd-
we saw.
I don't know if George Floyd was about George Floyd. I think that was more of a protest against
I
the
think-
stay-at-home order, against the mask, against the
Yeah, I
not
think
having-
that was
it
a lot of stuff
that was
all
against
at
the
once
pandemic
coming
stuff.
out.
Right, and then
COVID,
they just
like everyone.
Well, I mean, but
that
all of that
was
stuff-
the first time I went outside.
That was all of
I
that
started
stuff was
spray
coming.
painting immediately.
But all of that stuff was going on, and nobody was coming outside. And then George Floyd got killed right in front of us, and then everybody came
I
outside.
think January 6th was also a part of that whole situation where you just got all these people stuck in their house. People can't go to school, people not going to job, and they just mad that they stuck in their house. And the January 6th situation was an opportunity. All right, we mad about the presidency, but it's an opportunity to let off the gas, bro. And
Oh, yeah, I
But the
agree.
timeline doesn't
and
work.
George Floyd.
2020.
Yes, we was in the house. It was a stay-at-home order.
Yeah, but 2021 was when the
I was in the
January
house.
6th thing happened.
Right, we had been in the house for 7
Yeah,
8
no.
months at that point. That's what I'm saying. We were stuck in the house.
I
no school,
agree
no
with the
job.
letting the steam off.
got
I agree
fired,
with that.
and it was an opportunity that everybody let it out. And then George Floyd happened. It was another opportunity. It was an opportunity for the minorities to let it out.
And then a lot of people are saying the 2016 to 2020, well, Trump was president and divided a lot of the
That's what
country.
got it
Yes,
all
but a
built
lot
up.
of people blame him for that. But it was a lot of people being in the crib and just needing
That
to let
stay at
steam
home
off.
messed us up, bro.
That really messed a lot.
That messed up
My
family.
whole perception of time is messed up from 2019, from 2016 on, my whole time perception is messed up.
And then how many people, bro, I'm not willing to do no crime. Then I lose my job. I was 25. I lost my job, and I got an apartment, and I don't got no way to pay my rent.
And these jewelry
And people
stores
are going to survive.
These jewelry stores are wide open. These Apple stores are wide open.
Now I'm willing to go run up and do some loot now.
And I'm not going to get prosecuted for it because I'm going to be able to sell it.
So that's what I'm saying, bro. I think the stay-at-home order is what.
I didn't want to.
That's what really sparked people, bro.
Well,
I do agree with that.
All I was saying was that I agree with y'all when you're saying like, oh, it's everybody outside and stuff like that. I was just saying that when you're saying like there were no Mexicans protesting.
I was just saying what my homie was saying last night, and he was just like, because my whole family is black, and he was just saying my struggle was more than.
I'm saying
you saying more. I don't agree with people saying my struggle is more because documentation. Everyone's got levels.
But everybody's struggle is more to them.
Exactly, it's levels to this.
Exactly, and everybody, you can't dismiss how arduous it is for them,
exactly,
and then how less arduous it is for some other them.
Yeah, like who am I as a white man to tell my homie your struggle? Like I'm not gonna tell my homie his struggle, like how he feels about his own struggle.
Exactly,
like, I gotta
your
shut
struggle
up.
is your struggle.
I gotta shut up and listen. That's all I got.
I don't think races help each other before like this.
Races?
I think every race was for themselves, bro.
I agree.
And if you know,
but I think that this crossing line.
Anybody from Chicago that was around, say before 2000, bro, they'd tell you you couldn't even cross certain lines because of the race you.
Well, I know because I'm Polish. All my family went in the Polish area, and that's where they stood.
You think it get better when you go down south? Of course not.
No, but there's a whole movement to get black people to go back down south. You can't heal where you hurt.
That's not the worst situation.
It's not the best either.
It's not the best, but like
you should be able to enjoy the rights of the country. I don't care wherever you are.
But my 40,000 stretch a little bit farther in Texas. You know what I'm saying? It stretches a little bit farther down south, man. I could be king down south, man.
I get it, but I'm saying that's your choice. That's your choice. It shouldn't be because you're getting mistreated in Chicago, so you got to move your whole life.
You want to.
You should, exactly. You shouldn't move because you got to. You should move because you want to.
I want to see everybody experience a higher quality of life, and if that means moving back down south.
Well, do you agree with those people moving to Thailand now and stuff because it's cheaper and it's a better?
Whatever you think is the best quality life for you, bro.
Yeah, well, that's all.
But you got to understand that motivation was rooted in the fact that your quality of life had diminished wherever you were, and so that you had to move. It wasn't a choice. You felt like you were forced to move.
Ain't no sense in living in a project in New York if you could live in a big house in Atlanta. Like,
if you got family in New York and none in Atlanta, it does matter.
That's where you're from. That's where your culture.
It does matter. Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Look. We got about 30 seconds. Y'all want to go back on the air?
Yeah, we're going back.
I've been reading about the Marines are gonna put in LA. They're about to send the 27th grade over there. Those are the people.
I need you to talk about the actual. Yes, I need you to talk about the actual legitimacy of can he do it? Because you looked it up already. What he's doing.
Shoot, I don't think he cares.
5.
I know, but we need to know. We need to inform our audience.
Yeah.
2.
You're rocking with the Brunch Bunch right here on this Richard 1390. It's your girl Tamara Fair on the air, and I'm proudly posted in the studio with the Brunch Bunch. What's up again, y'all? Hey, we just came off of a great interview with 2 young stars, and of course, it's our duty to inform you of what's going on around the world. So Adam was talking about what's going on or what went on in the protest and how someone got hurt, but there's more injuries that, of course, we're praying against. But when you got a collection of people that have high octane tempers about their causes that they're representing, it's bound for something to happen. Prayerfully, we can keep on lifting it and we won't have any fatalities, but things are getting really heated. Well, as you know, a couple of days ago, Trump called for Gavin Newsom, that's the governor of California's arrest, y'all. I've never heard of that in my entire life where the president wants to arrest. Now, I have seen it. I have seen it on a movie where the in a movie. And I don't know, well, you know, Donald Trump is an entertainer. So maybe he got that from the same movie that I saw.
The movie Civil War? It's looking a lot like
Is that it?
Civil War. I don't
is
know.
that it?
Movie.
I don't know what. That's something I must put on my list. But the Marines are preparing to deploy in LA, and more protests are planned across the United States, just like in the story that you just mentioned. Well, the curfew was lifted in downtown Los Angeles. Many people didn't even know that there was a curfew imparted in downtown Los Angeles, but Mayor Karen Bliss lifted a 1 square mile nighttime curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. imposed earlier during ongoing protests over expanded ICE raids and the deployment of federal troops. The military deployment sparked an outrage, and in response to escalating unrest, the Trump administration deployed about 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 Marines unilaterally without California's approval to assist ICE and protect federal facilities. Well, usually when you deploy those kinds of services, it is at the request of the governor. But as mentioned, the governor did not request. So Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, condemned the move as an authoritarian overreach and has filed a lawsuit to block federal use of state guard forces. There's tension, of course, between the officials. Mayor Bass highlighted the most unrest was peaceful and criticized the military show of force was excessive, that it wasn't even really needed. Where President Trump defended the tactics, claiming that the city was succumbing to the third world lawlessness and pledged to liberate Los Angeles, suggesting the potential invocation of the Insurrection Act. What a crock! I don't know. You Insurrection Act? Are you serious? We didn't hear about the Insurrection Act until there was an insurrection in your administration. So the civilian and celebrity reactions are varied. Protesters stood largely peacefully through instances of vandalism and arrest occurred. Well, one activist, Jen Richards, described being hurt by rubber bullets and flashbangs, calling LAPD's response rabid aggression. Kim Kardashian criticized the raids as inhumane, urgent reform, while Senator Nancy Pelosi criticized the inconsistency of Trump's response compared to January 6th. A great comparison. Yeah, so now Nancy Pelosi is related to Governor Newsom.
I did not know this.
I know you didn't.
Oh, wow.
Look it up. Fact check me. So spread to other cities. We aforementioned that it's going on in Milwaukee. It is slated to be here in Chicago this weekend. And there are other places that are planning these kinds of protests. Yeah. Similar protests have erupted in New York City. Of course, I already said Chicago, Seattle, Austin, Texas, and Dallas, indicating a nationwide swell in anti-ICE and anti-deportation sentiment. A broader political movement includes an intense federal response that has reignited debates around immigration enforcement, federal versus state authority, because now the lines are being blurred, right? Very much so. And the broader use of military forces in domestic affairs. Well, analysts warn of a significant test of constitutional boundaries. And you know what? A lot of times, I didn't know this until I actually started advocating for causes that were affecting and impacting childcare. But I always thought that every governor, so 50 governors, answered to the president, that the president was their boss. Au contraire, the state's sovereignty means that those governors really have full reign over that state. Mm-hmm. And so they depend on local county representatives to assist them because, of course, you got to piece it up.
It's like president of that state,
basically. So the governor is like a little president, right? Mm-hmm. And they do not have authority. The president of the United States does not have authority over each governor, only to the extent that they control how much money they give, how much support they get from the federal government. So that's why when we, at the top of this story, we talked about when you ask for it, when you get these kinds of military enforcement, is usually at the request. Now, I asked Justice to look it up and see if he overreached his authority as president, and Justice found out what you found out, Justice.
Well, legally, the president can deploy the military or armed forces in individual states against the governor's wishes. It's an exception that's under the Insurrection Act. So it's outlined in the Insurrection Act that under specific circumstances, the president can deploy military armed forces into individual states. But I think that it's an overreach. I think that it's an overreaction. I think that people have the right to protest. people, especially peacefully, people have the right to protest. There wasn't anything crazy going on until officers came into the city and started harassing people. I've seen countless videos of civilians getting shot with rubber bullets while they're just walking, not doing anything. Reporters, journalists, people are being attacked and harassed. So it's only the only escalation has come from the government or the forces that are pushed in there.
And the inconsistencies like you're talking about are super crazy too, because LA is supposed to be a sanctuary city. Therefore, the LAPD is not supposed to be helping ICE. They're not supposed to be enforcing what ICE is telling them to do. Yet they're standing in line, arm in arm, protecting ICE. Like they can't help themselves. It's really crazy. But the overreaction that I think was crazy that I found out last night was what Marines are actually coming into LA. And these Marines are called the 2nd Battalion, 7th Marine Regime, 1st Marine Division. It's called the 29. They're from 29 Palms, California, and their nickname is the War Dogs. Their specialty is a light infantry unit with reputation for aggressive combat operations in Iraq and Afghanistan. They're trained for desert and urban warfare, experience in counter insurgency, security operations, and rapid deployment. War Dogs coming into LA.
That's like Black Ops.
First, it really is for some protesters. Seems like a crazy overreaction, but what Trump is trying to say is, if you're not about to get in line, I'm bringing these War Dogs in, and there's no conversation when the War Dogs come. I'm not gonna mess with one of the War Dogs.
Hey Adam, would you rather have the War Dogs dealing with the situation or LAPD?
Oh, War Dogs every day, but it just seems a little too much for.
Was it warranted? Is the question.
Like, if I have family that's in the Marines. If I was a Marine, I'd find it disrespectful to my service I'm giving to this country and my fatigues that I'm trained for such high things in Afghanistan, Iraq to deal with like really, really dangerous people. And the president is saying, just come to LA and like look over this protest. I would find it super disrespectful.
They're using you.
I'd be very upset. I am upset, and I'm not even in the military.
However, history shows, LAPD and riots haven't always come together.
That is very
and
true.
Maybe something different.
That is very true. But
maybe something different does need to happen, but can it happen on a local level, like the armed guards?
We got the
armed
National
guards.
Guard. We got the
That's what I
National
mean. The
Guard.
National Guard
Let
is
them
usually
come.
deployed when there is an escalation that the LAPD or the local police cannot handle.
Correct.
So the National Guard is deployed by the governor.
That's the whole reason
And so,
we have it.
but is reported, unless we're missing something, it was reported that it was wholly peaceful.
Yes.
So why did you do
But then
that?
we see burning cars and stuff though on the highway as well. So we say peaceful
were
and stuff
people-
too, and we're seeing images that are different as well too. And the big media like CNN, MSNBC, Fox, even I don't even trust those news sources to show us what's actually going on or tell us what's actually going on, because we're being told one thing and seeing something totally different. And I feel like I'm being told I'm crazy for thinking some way when I'm being told one thing and seeing something else. My mind's messed up.
Let me ask you, Adam, don't you think that's intentional though?
Of course it is. It's all a smoke
To
screen
confuse
to
you.
go and do whatever they want to do.
But so when you have this kind of situation, you have to ask the bigger question: what is the diversion and what is the end game here? And we're going to keep you apprised as
I think
we
the
learn.
Diddy I think the Diddy case is a whole smoke screen to go do whatever you want. Because now we're entertained with this dude, and they can do whatever they want and sign the big beautiful bill, sneak stuff into the bill, and people aren't talking about that. They're talking about Diddy instead.
Exactly. But you know what? The big beautiful bill, we don't have a lot of time to get that where we
Couple
need
days.
it. July the 4th, that's the goal. But in the meantime, in between time, we promise to keep you apprised right here on the Brunch Bunch. And as always, in parting, we always want to encourage you to keep Love 24 alive. Tell someone that you don't know, a perfect stranger that you love them. Maybe even if you're in the protest, bring the love to it, right?
Come to my show. Come to my show.
That's right. What's your show? You got two.
It's on the 12th. You can get it at No Chilliams, NOCHILLIAMS. Hope to see you all there.
That's right, y'all. Please, peace,
Peace.
and stay optimistic.
Dang, I got too mad about this to not even talk about
No,
it.
you did not get too mad. You were passionate about it.
Man,
All
this
of you
stuff
all were
started on the
passionate.
West, right? On, like, California is, right? Yeah. Y'all don't think this got a little bit to do with blowing off some steam after the fires and burnt up their
All right, now every excuse you're giving is blowing off steam. We can't just excuse people blowing off
let's
steam.
talk
for doing
about
crazy
that's a pattern of behavior at this point. Let's talk about it.
No,
then,
this
bro.
didn't start.
Okay.
It's a pattern of behavior.
I don't
No, but the protests and the violence and all of the action started on the West, bro. That's what I'm trying to say, G. So
Where did it?
It's been all over. You can't pinpoint.
But I'm saying,
these
initial protests did start.
Yeah, but it did not start there. Actually,
LA protests started. Yes, the LA protests started.
no, but the very first protest did not start across the country in LA. This is now. They weren't the first people that they weren't the first state.
Milwaukee, right? But where is it coming from?
Well,
You said
it's not a virus.
So it started. It actually started in Columbus, Ohio. Remember, ICE came there, and the black people came from wherever they were and was like, I don't know what you think you're gonna do here. And the police came in a van and rushed them out. They protected them and rushed them out because their intention was not what they were saying they were going to do. And the people that came, they were like, no, we're not having.
They had riots that shut down the streets for days on end.
Yeah.
No, but think about it though.
Well, they didn't. They preempted it. They preempted it.
So they stopped it.
Yeah, they stopped it.
It never happened.
But what's a bigger?
It did happen, but they preempted it.
Which
didn't
state?
cause no conflict.
But
So
Ohio versus LA, which has a higher concentration of Latino community? LA by far, so there's gonna be more.
I think
people
LA has
coming.
more
that's the one I
Latinos.
just said. We started in the West end, bro.
No, just because there's nothing like crazy protest, like peaceful protests can happen.
No, bro, you don't understand what I'm saying, G. We can sit here and talk all day, bro, but talk don't mean nothing to somebody throw a punch, bro. No punches was thrown, no violence.